Hey everyone, me Kevin here with another stimulus check, stimulus package, and money update for June 17th. If you've been following me on Instagram, you finally now know that the reason I'm always wearing a jacket or sometimes even a coat, even though it's summertime, is because I have 3 air conditioners in this room to try to cool this room down before I turn on all these ridiculously hot studio lights. Heck, if you follow me on the other socials, you'll probably have also seen that in Lauren's latest vlog, we just bought a new house. Check out her latest vlog. You'll get to see the house that we just bought. Hint, hint, it's a beater. Anyway, I want to start talking about this video about, well, the free money we've been talking about. Finally, actually real stimulus money is going into your hands. That is, another round has finally been received by a lot of you. In fact, I've been getting a lot of Instagram DMs and messages from a lot of you. Here are just a couple examples of those. Hey, Kevin, just received my $1,000 advance. Thanks so much. Here's somebody showing their checking account and shouting me out on Instagram. Here's somebody who got a $3,000 grant. Here's somebody who says, hey, they got denied at first and they finally got multiple grant deposits. This is free money. They don't have to pay back. That's what stimulus money is, right? And so in case you're unfamiliar with this, this has to do with the SBA EIDL grant. I really encourage you asking yourself, are you a landlord? Do you have a side hustle? Do you have a hobby that you've made money on that could be considered a side business? Do you drive Uber Eats? Are you a gig worker? A self-employed realtor? Self-employed in any form? Do you have anything that could be even deemed a business? You should consider applying. When in doubt, apply. If you were in business before January 31st, you could fill out a form and you basically get $1,000 for free. You don't have to take a loan. You don't have to do anything. Now, I'm not gonna go through all of the details in this video because I've done it before, even though YouTube doesn't always suggest these to you. So I'm gonna make this really easy for you. These are the websites to remember. metkevin.com/1000 will take you to where you could fill out a form and apply for the website or for the $1,000 grant. It's just a redirect link. It goes to covid19relief.sba.gov. Anyway, metkevin.com/1000, because see, now you've watched a video, you've met me. Then, if you need help filling out the form, watch metkevin.com/walkthrough. That is a complete walkthrough video on how to fill out the form. And Lauren fills it out, so she asks really good questions, and they're probably similar questions to what you have. Then, if you have other sort of general questions, if this even applies to you based on the trade you're in, or you've got frequently asked questions, whatever, I went through all of the comments, put together a video, put a lot of work into this, and YouTube didn't even send a notification out on it. So go to metkevin.com/FAQ, and you'll see it there. But really, folks, the SBA is giving away the rest of this money, and it's first come, first serve. So either get the money or it's gone. Give it a shot. And remember, if you want free money, you can also get 2 free stocks with Webull. Just deposit $100, you get 2 free stocks. And right next to that, you'll find a link for life insurance, where in as little as 5 minutes, you can get yourself life insurance. I've got a $1 million policy myself, and I was shocked how inexpensive that was. Now let's touch again a little bit on the $4,000 Explore America tax credit. I read all of your comments yesterday, and I was surprised that there was really only one person who bagged on my piggy bank drawing. They said that they're going to be seeing that piggy bank in their nightmares. So I'm sorry. But for everybody else, it's very loud and clear that you're all not very happy with the $4,000 Explore America tax credit, which I agree with you. I think if they just give us straight up stimulus money and let us decide how to spend it, things will be a lot easier and more clear, and maybe we could actually have some comfort, because right now there are a lot of us feeling a pain in this time. And it's really frustrating that we're not getting clear guidance here. But I wanted to look into this and try to understand what's on their minds. And here's what I thought. If they approve the $1,200 stimulus check, which is, in my opinion, very likely, that means an average family of, let's say, 4 would get $4,800, right? 2 adults would get $1,200, and the dependents would get $1,200. It's been bumped up from the $500 in the HEROES Act, so that's good. Now, $4,800, let's say the bulk of that goes to paying off bills, food, groceries, whatever, necessities, debts, whatever it might be. $2,800 goes to that. But let's say $1,200 or $2,000 of that goes to money they might spend anyway at Dave & Buster's or local restaurants, or maybe they're taking a car trip to the beach to take the kids to the beach and you go eat, hamburgers or whatever. Things that we kind of do as Americans anyway. Take a look at what I found when I did some really quick kind of peeling back the layers of this math. Watch this. This is, in my opinion, fascinating. So, if we spend $2,800 on bills and debts, well, paying off debts circulates through the economy about 1.4 times, which means the impact of us taking that $2,800 of stimulus money and spending it on bills and debts actually helps the economy out by $3,920. So that's the impact to the economy. Look at this. If you spend less money on stuff you might have spent the money on anyway, right? Restaurants, beaches, and all of that. You spend $2,000 of that $4,800 on restaurants and beaches. You know, you don't really pay to go to a beach, but you know what I mean. Like, restaurants near the beaches. You'd travel somewhere with the car or whatever. It doesn't have to be like an exotic vacation to the Empire State Building, right? Well, you spend that $2,000 over, let's say, the next 18 months. That circulates through the economy with a power of about $11,000. And that's because this little multiplier number here is called the velocity of money. It's just basically a number economists use to see how much impact every dollar we spend has. And so paying off debts and bills, or saving it, or investing in stocks doesn't help that much. But spending it here does. And the cool thing is, if you got a $4,800 stimulus check and they had this credit available, and you were gonna spend that $2,000 anyway, you would get an extra 50% back on that. So you would get another $1,000 back after that. So then it's almost kind of like you got a $5,800, stimulus check. Now, again, I wanna be very, very clear. I'd rather they just do a bigger stimulus check. But if they are going to do this, and they do both of these things, it's not horrible. Especially since I know we need money right now, but most of us are going to go to restaurants within the next 18 months. And it's good for the economy in some sense, and it gives us even more stimulus money, as long as they give us the check, right? Now, the biggest bogus would be no check, just this credit. Like that would absolutely be terrible. Obviously, the easiest thing would just be, look, just give everybody $2,000 a month, even for like 3 months or 2 months. Golly, just like give more stimulus money, right? That's easier. But I can see why some of the economists might be pushing this. And again, I'm just trying to report it to you the way I'm seeing it, not trying to take sides. So hopefully I'm coming across as impartial. I do have the Captain America tie bar on today, okay? So I'm trying my best. All right, let's keep moving on. See, in my opinion, this is the kind of stuff that we want to have a dialogue about on YouTube. This is the kind of stuff, this is the content where when you watch, you're like, I have been enlightened. I never thought about it that way. So that way, even if you disagree with the way I explained it, at least it gets you thinking about it, like, okay, well, maybe that's what those dudes are thinking. And look, Congress is so mismanaged right now. This is by no means a defense of Congress. It's a disaster, okay? But what I do want to talk about is, something else that I saw, which in my opinion is a little bit frustrating, is that most of the time it seems like other stimulus, people who discuss stimulus topics are more interested in just reading articles off of Forbes. I'm kind of more of a dive into the economists and then give you the bottom lines of the really good stuff. That's what I like to do, right? But this was actually interesting, and this was something that I dug deep on. Somebody mentioned that Skagway, Alaska is issuing stimulus checks of $1,000 per household member. And so I'm like, where did this come from? It came from a Forbes article, like lines were quoted right out of the Forbes article. I'm like, okay, well, let's try to peel back the layer here. So Skagway, Alaska is giving $1,000 of stimulus checks per household member, which means a family of 4 is getting recurring stimulus checks of $4,000. I'm thinking to myself, how's that city pulling that off? Like, where'd they get the money to do that? And that certainly doesn't make the rest of America feel good. That just makes us feel like we're getting ripped off even more, right? But then I did a little bit of a fact check. Here's the thing. Skagway, Alaska is a tiny gold rush town with a population of under 980 annual inhabitants. Let's just round it to 1,000. Let's say they have 1,000 people that live there. But cruise ships bring in over 1 million tourists per year. Maybe not this year, but think about that. That literally means you, as one person living in Skagway, Alaska, gets 1,000 new friends every single year, bringing you money, alcohol, and vacation euphoria. And hopefully not COVID, but you know what I mean? Like 1,000 times 1,000 is 1 million. So every single resident of Skagway, Alaska could have 1,000 friends, and they would all have different friends. So like those are big numbers, right? If you had a lemonade stand year round, and you had just 1,000 of only your friends buy at your shop, that's good money. Hopefully over time, and you might have to raise your prices and stuff like that. But anyway, basically these cruise ships are like big banks coming in. So when we hear like, why is that town getting stimulus checks and we're not? Well, two reasons. One, they probably got a ton of money from the tourism they get. A city of 1,000 people, or a town of 1,000 people are getting 1 million people coming to their town every single year. That's nuts in a usual year. And now they're not getting anything, which means they're probably especially suffering right now. So, to me, when you peel back those layers, it's like, okay, well, that makes sense. I don't know. I like that kind of perspective. Speaking of perspective, Chairman Jerome Powell, chairman of the Federal Reserve, of course, with the money printer that goes brrr, is testifying today for a second straight day in the Senate. I've been watching him diligently as he's been specifically concerned about people who are unbanked, which being unbanked means you don't have a bank account yet, which I really encourage you to get a bank account. You should definitely have one. And if you don't want a traditional bank account, you don't want to leave your house to go to bank, go to metkevin.com/M1. That's a really good place where you can open up a bank account on your phone. And they're doing a promotion right now where you could get 2% cash back on their debit card. This is a debit card. Their M1 Finance debit card. You get 2% cash back. I don't know. I thought that was interesting. Anyway, low-income earners are, according to Jerome Powell, basically getting pushed to the extreme. And I think we know this. This happens in a recession. In a recession, poor people become very poor, and rich people get richer. It's messed up. It just makes it worse. Everything gets worse for the people least able to bear it, which is, again, why we need more of the stimulus money. And, at least we need the stimulus money, at least. This could just be a bonus, a little bit of a bonus. Certainly not going to spend all of that. Again, the rich people are probably going to benefit from that even more, which is frustrating, but at least for ourselves. Anyway. All right, so Jerome Powell did also say that, and this was an interesting quote, he says that right now we are, quote, at the end of the beginning of the crisis. Basically, we're transitioning into slowly putting the pieces back together. His vice chair, Richard Clarida, also mentioned that he sees a super low inflation, no indications that we should be worried about inflation with the money printer right now, which in English basically means people aren't buying as much stuff right now, and they might not be buying as much stuff over the next few years. And even though the cost of meat has temporarily gone through the roof, prices are pretty much going down, which also means that this guy, Richard Clarida, basically pops open another beer. We'll just pretend this coffee cup's a beer. Turns over to Jerome Powell and goes, "Hey, Jerome, we're good. Keep it printing. Keep it printing." Keep that money printer rolling. Richard Clarida also mentioned that direct stimulus support can make a critical difference. This is, we're starting to see that their language is becoming a little bit more hardcore when they're talking about Congress. I'm just going to condense what he said, his 8-page speech. Here you go in one line. Yo, Congress, we need more stimulus money because you did a good job the last time, but the people are suffering and we need more money now. The Fed is getting more harsh in the way they're saying this, which is good. I wish they would say it a little bit more bluntly. Like, hey, Congress, stimulus checks, let's go. I don't know why it's so hard, but they're economists. And again, if you had trouble following this, don't feel bad. If I just hold it back here, it looks even more disastrous. I couldn't even imagine what numbers and crap they have to go through. But anyway. I certainly don't know. Let's keep moving on. We had this morning the chairman of the SEC, Jay Clayton, discuss the fact that a lot of people are actually sitting at home and they're now choosing to gamble on the stock trading platform Robinhood by playing options trades and making risky speculative short-term bets. And he says this actually makes him very nervous. He did say that as long as companies properly disclose with some new rules that they're releasing, it's ultimately up to the user. But he says, look, my favorite kind of investor is, quote, a long-term retail investor who builds their wealth over time, which is exactly what I teach not only on this channel, but in my courses on finance for beginners and real estate for beginners. So if you have $0, check out those programs because they will show you how to build wealth. There's a coupon code as well. In other news, Mike Pence, if you have not seen this yet, this is a good one. I'm going to read you some quotes from this. Mike Pence did an op-ed, opinion editorial, in the Wall Street Journal. And he says, in recent days, this is his quote, in recent days, the media has taken to sounding the alarm bells over a second wave coronavirus of infections, or second wave of coronavirus infections. Such panic is overblown. The truth is that we've made great progress over the past 4 months. The media has tried to scare away the American people every step of the way, and these grim predictions of a second wave are no different. The truth is, whatever the media says, our whole of America approach has been a success. We've slowed the spread, we've cared for the most vulnerable, we've saved lives, and we've created a solid foundation for whatever challenges we may face in the future. That's a cause for celebration, not the media's fear-mongering. To which Dr. Fauci, who also works within the White House, responded and said, quote, "When I look at the TV and I see pictures of people congregating at bars, when the location they are in clearly indicates they shouldn't be doing that, that's very risky." Goes on to say that, quote, "People keep talking about a second wave. The reality is, quote, we're still in the first wave." Well, folks, let me know what you think down below in the comments. If you like this perspective, consider sharing it with people you care about. Consider subscribing to the channel. Make sure to get your 2 free stocks, get your life insurance, check out the programs down below, and I will be back with more updates as soon as I have them ready for you. I really appreciate your support, and folks, we'll see you soon.